Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Czech Service Industry Podcast. I am Reyshan Parker, and if you haven't yet, please go watch my television series Beyond the Czech Worker Owner Edition, now streaming on Amazon Prime and Tubi TV. Fox's Tubi TV. It's free TV. I have a fantastic guest today. She is the queen of the packed lunches, I hear. She learned to cook at her mother's side, and she honed her skills in the kitchen by cooking with her family. She's been sharing her adventures on lunch packing online at Aviva Wittenberg for the last 7 years, and she has a brand new book out called, I just forgot it, but what's it called, Aviva? Lunchbox. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Aviva Wittenberg. Hi, Aviva.
Hi there. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good.
Awesome.
Really pleased to be here.
I haven't had lunch yet today, though.
Oh, well, you'll be hungry by the end, I hope.
I'm already hungry, but I'm excited. But you're going to taste, but everything's going to taste so much better when we're done talking, I am sure.
Yeah.
So lunch. You're all about lunch. Or
yes,
just pack.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess about 10 years ago, one of my kids really wanted an Instagram account. And I was a little bit leery. She was young and all of her friends wanted them so they could chat together. And so as a group of parents, we decided that we would let our kids get Instagram accounts and we would follow all of the kids so that we could be sure that they weren't being awful online, sort of teach them to be good, like digital citizens of the world.
Oh, good digital citizens.
One of my friends said, well, if you got this account, you should start sharing something. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll share, I don't know, what I pack my kids for lunch. And so it started there. I sort of documented what I packed every single day for years. And, you know, as they grew up, their tastes changed. There have been different requirements at the schools around restrictions for allergies for other kids in the class that we take into consideration. And yeah, it's been sort of a very interesting evolution. And about 2.5 years ago, Appetite at Penguin Random House reached out to me wondering if I wanted to write a book about lunch. And that was how it came to be. And I did. And it was a very strange time because I wrote this book about lunch when we weren't going anywhere at all. The world basically shut down. And we were all at home all the time. But
it gave you time to write a book.
It gave me time to write a book. It gave me a captive audience to taste everything over and over again. And
I find a lot of people managed to get a lot done during COVID. People that wouldn't have written their books, wrote their books. People who didn't make their albums for years made music, right? And a lot of people got a lot done that they would have just never had the chance to. And now there's all this stuff out in the world.
It was such an interesting time. Like I was really lucky to have the life I have, that I could spend 2 years writing a book, right? Like there's great privilege in that. I'm so pleased, like at the end of this, to have, you know, an end of 2 years, like living in the four walls of my house all the time, to have something.
People in New York didn't leave, 15 months, I think is how long New York was actually locked down for. So there was no choice. You weren't going back to work for 15 months, right? That's a long time. That's a long time. I'm in Savannah, Georgia, and it was 3 months, right?
So I live in Toronto, and we had, I think school was out for 9 months in our province. So my kids learned remotely for 9 months on and off, which was a long time.
But you got to test subject them the whole time, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I would have never had that time with them if it weren't for the pandemic. Like they're teenagers now, and for sure they wouldn't have spent as much time at home with us. And
right.
Yeah, it was a gift in lots of ways, right? It was like never, like when I was their age, I wouldn't have been hanging out with my parents.
I didn't.
So it was, and they have a friendship that they wouldn't have had otherwise as well. Because
silver linings all around.
You know,
school lunch is school lunch, but like packed lunches, like I remember, you know, the paper bag lunches. Yeah. We had that when I was a kid. I don't know, and lunch boxes were cooler back then too. Yeah. So I mean they're cool now, I guess, but not, you know, that you remember the old You guys had those, the little metal
Oh
ones?
yeah, for sure.
The old school ones, or even like your dad. My dad had like the one that looked like a barn.
Yeah. Oh
And it had the thermos in it, and it was all the classical lunch accoutrement.
Yeah.
What was your when you started? Let's go just all the way back to the simple, basic beginnings.
Oh, so I definitely.
What were we packing, and what were we packing it in?
I'm sorry, when I was little, or what am I doing now?
When you first, when your kids first went to school and you started.
Oh, so when
lunches.
we started with bento boxes.
Really?
Sort of an updated version of a bento box. So bento boxes come from Japan, and there are lots of cultures that use different boxes in the same way for lunches. Like in India, they use tiffins that are like beautiful stacked lunch boxes. And so they used like these stainless steel bentos for their lunch. And what was so great about them was that they're basically indestructible, and they last a lifetime, and they can see everything they're eating all at once, which is really important.
I'm glad I asked that question. I wasn't expecting such an actual detailed answer.
So there you go. So that's what we use. So
it was not just the brown paper bag and plastic package. You actually went and got bento boxes.
So our schools have like a zero waste policy, and so any garbage you send to school comes home again. Any waste.
Right, because you're in Canada where you care.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if it's a school by school thing, but it is a big thing. Like all the waste comes home, so it's important to send as waste-free a lunch as possible. So that was what we started with, and we've tried. In between, we've tried other like plastic boxes. They mostly broke, so we've stuck with stainless steel bentos in various forms since then. And actually, we still have the original ones that are like still going strong.
So do you have a lunch company as well? Do you sell lunch boxes or like no?
No, I work in tech by day.
You work in tech by day.
And at the moment I'm fully remote, so I make my lunch every day, but I just bring it here to my desk.
In a bento box. In a bento box.
Yeah, or on a plate, yes. But so
all right, so what were we putting in these bento boxes at the beginning before their taste changed?
So my kids are, I'm lucky. My kids are really adventurous, and they were born that way. Like I think it's really important if there are parents listening. I think a lot of parents put a lot of pressure on themselves around their kids' selective eating and sort of picky eating. But it really is, my kids are curious with food, and it's been like a gift to us because we love to travel, and they'll eat anything, and they'll often eat things that I might not try. And they'll order stuff, and I'll be like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "If you're ordering it, you need to eat it." One of my kids, I was sitting in a restaurant with her, and she ordered octopus, and it came like a tentacle wrapped around the perimeter of the plate. And I was just looking at it like she's not going to eat this, and she was just like, "That looks amazing," and ate the whole thing. So. Anyway,
wow, so your kids are surprising me.
Very, very easy. We also, I don't know if you visited Toronto, it's so multicultural. And so we have everything like literally up the street from us. And so we eat everything all the time.
All the time.
They've been exposed to lots of.
I have heard tell that Toronto is a very, very multicultural foodie town that pretty much covers all the bases.
Everything. Yeah, no, it's pretty astonishing. And so we're really lucky for that, which means that we can they are open to trying lots of stuff. So
I just got Ethiopian cookbook.
Oh yeah.
In the mail. You got an Ethiopian restaurant up there?
We do. So I've been going to an Ethiopian restaurant in Toronto since I was in high school that is delicious and is still there, is operating all these years later. And actually an Ethiopian restaurant opened up just like up the street from me about like just before the pandemic, but they're still open. It is delicious.
Well, good for them.
So good. Yeah. So I've never made Ethiopian food or like injera. I've never made injera before.
The bread's almost impossible. I think you have to have Ethiopian blood. I don't know.
Yeah. You can buy it here. Like you can get it just prepared at like Ethiopian grocery stores.
Ethiopian grocery stores, things we don't have here.
Yeah, it's the gift of a city like this. It's,
So, what are you making at home for lunches? And like, did you prep for like the week, or are you have
So
the
I planned
shopping
for the week.
regimen? Because I imagine they ate 5 days a week, fit to go
They do
lunches.
eat, yeah,
right?
at least they eat 7 days a week, but they take they eat all the days of the week.
I meant the packed lunches.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm sure you still feed them on the weekend. I hope. I mean,
That's right. I only do lunch during the week. They're on their own. So when they were little, so like in terms of strategies for little kids, when they were little, they didn't really want to hang around and eat. So the way their lunch was set up is they actually had 20 minutes to eat. It was kind of crazy. And they like to chat. And so whatever they would eat had to be like small, really filling bites of stuff. So lots of finger food. Cutlery takes a long time. Cutlery gets lost. One of my kids won't look for cutlery if it's in a bag, so, stuff like noodles and salads and stuff like that take too long. So when they were little, it was like dumplings or sushi, sandwiches, little bites of stuff, pancakes, eggs, kind of cut up into little bits, like a frittata that you cut up into cubes for them.
So they can eat it with their fingers.
So they can eat it with their fingers and get outside to play. So they were sort of like really nutritionally dense kind of stuff. So they'd have something like that and veggies and a fruit. And that was it. And that was, occasionally a treat, but that. And then
they hit middle school.
Yeah. And then as they're older, and then the nice thing about the bento boxes is there's like a section for everything. So the one that we use the most now, and the one that I actually use most in the book, is in 3 sections. With sort of a big section that you could put a sandwich or a salad or something in, and then 2 other smaller sides.
We're also portion controlling here, aren't we?
I guess so. Like that's not that's for
wasn't a
kids.
thought.
You're not thinking about that. You're just feeding them good stuff.
But what about for us? What about for us adults?
I guess, yeah, no, absolutely. You could.
I mean, I only brought this one bento. That's what I'm going to eat.
That's right. Yeah, no, I guess so. As long, it's not like a 20-cup bento.
I try to eat when I pack a lunch. It's usually vegetarian, just because I don't want to like haul meat around, or I just use that to keep me from eating as much meat. Mm-hmm. And I literally pack the same thing, which is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, chips, and carrot sticks.
Yeah,
like it's my job. I'm a 43-year-old man making my lunch of a peanut butter and jelly.
That sounds delicious. Carrot sticks. That's so good. Yeah,
and like Doritos. I could probably pick a healthier chip, but they're,
the chip's the chip. It's no, that sounds good. So my kids, when they were little, we can't send nuts or peanuts to school.
So even for their own lunch, they can't have.
No, not at all. So they
do you even have peanut butter?
Pardon me?
Do you guys have peanut butter on the shelf in Canada like we do?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we did it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, no, tons of it. But you just can't send it to school. I've got friends that live in New Jersey, and they were saying that one of their kids has a nut allergy, and so they had like a nut allergy table at their kids' school. But here they just do no nuts at all, and so no one needs to worry.
Man, so I bet you probably don't have candy bars in your vending machines
at school. No,
I don't even know if they do now. We did when I was in school. Like we had. Yeah. Oh yeah.
We had a vending machine with like pop, like soda.
I mean, we had soda, but we also had. Yeah, like chips and candy bars and vending machines.
All that stuff, yeah. You could buy like cookies at the cafeteria, but that was. I mean,
that was high school.
Right. Yeah.
All right, but we could also leave for lunch if we wanted to.
Oh, for sure. No, and one of my kids leaves for lunch, and who knows what she gets. Those are days I don't pack lunch, so that's okay. That's like an independence thing. It's good.
So what are we packing for adults? What's a good variety? Like, let's maybe go through a weekly meal plan. Like, what's a week?
So I typically plan out about a week in advance. I don't pack all at once. I know there's some people that will pack on Sunday for the whole week. But I usually have kind of a high level plan. I get all of my produce from a farm on Thursdays. So they're a local farm. They deliver like to my doorstep and have for like 17 or 18 years. So whatever we eat is based on what is in the box. So it's like very seasonal, just because it's grown locally. So it's whatever's in season.
So step one is to the farm.
So I get my box on Thursday, and then I figure out what I've got in my fridge based on that and what I need to get to fill it out. So we do during the week. So my husband and I are both working remotely, like most of the time. And so the way we eat lunch during the week at home isn't really different than if we were packing lunch. It's the same. Like we don't have 2 hours to make lunch, right? You've got to go and grab something. So it's the same. It's like a lot of salads and grains. So I'll have like washed greens from the farm. If we've got soup, like in a couple of weeks, we'll start getting squash, like winter squash that I'll roast and have in containers in the fridge. Some cooked grains, so like some quinoa, some farro. I don't eat a lot of meat, but he does. So he'll have, I'll grill some like chicken for him that's like cooked and sliced. Some like that kind of thing, like bowls of stuff. And I'll make a couple of dressings each week. And the book is set up in the same way that you can just sort of go through and, plan out at a high level.
So you know what you're going to eat all week long. We don't have to worry about it.
You just don't need to make decisions. Like for me in the morning, if I don't plan, I'll open the fridge and just be like, it's full, but I don't even know.
Don't know what I want to eat. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to pack. It's just like a lot of ingredients, not like food. And so if I have a plan, it's like, then you know what you're going to do. Then you just need to do it.
Right. So much easier. Yeah.
Like for all
how many people
meals.
just open your fridge and you're just like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much in here, but nothing.
Right. Don't even know what to do. I'll buy lunch.
And the blockage is like the recipe in your head, right? Like, because you're just like, oh, now I have to like come up with something out of all this stuff. Thinking, what can I make out of? Which is fun sometimes, Like I get a kick out of just like, what are we having for dinner? I don't know. Right. So I open the fridge and figure it out.
No, sometimes that kind of improvisational thing is great. Improvising at like 7:00 on Monday morning isn't as fun.
No, I'm pretty basic for breakfast and bagel.
I'm thinking more lunch packing. So if I'm lunch packing, it's like 7 on Monday morning. I'm making breakfast and I'm like looking in the fridge. And I'm not ready to make big decisions.
I'd probably make that decision the night before. Like if I did have to wake up, I don't have to wake up in the mornings. But if I did have to wake up in the mornings, then I would probably pack my lunch the night before. Like I make my coffee the night before, and I have the lunch ready. Or I'll go to work later, like 5:00 in the afternoon sometimes. And so I'll pack my lunch dinner, which is like 9:00 at night.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll do that like hours before and just put it in the fridge so I don't have to worry about it. Because you don't want to rush. You don't, you never want to rush out of the house. So if you're waking up in the morning, then it's just so much less stress on your whole day if you're not rushing to grab your lunch or to make your breakfast or to think about it, or oh my god, now I didn't make coffee last night, so now I have to take time to stop at Starbucks, right? Like now it's just do it.
I totally agree, and that is exactly what I write in the book, and that is I'm filled with those intentions. Every fall that I'm going to make lunch the night ahead, I'm going to like make dinner, make a little bit extra of whatever it is, and turn that into a lunch.
Since you guys are stuck at home. Well, not stuck in them, but you work remotely together. You should do like a Friday lunch where you really do make something for lunch, or like pick one day. Because my sister and my mom started doing this.
Yep.
They'll make themselves a steak lunch like once a week. Fancy. Yeah. Like a fancy little steak lunch, and so every other day, no one really pays attention to lunch. No one really does that whole like European like dining lunch. Yeah. It's because it's not just brunch all the time, like in France, or it's every day. Lunch is a very important thing, and then you take a nap.
When you have that,
right? But we don't do that here. But it was fun just to be like, oh, lunchtime, and we're gonna take the time, and it doesn't take long to make steak, so it's not like you're taking 2 hours out of your day. Yeah. Right. You turn on the grill, you have a nice salad, you like maybe microwave a baked potato if you didn't, but you can put the baked potato in. You're at home. It'll be done. Yeah.
Right? Certainly, like my husband will grill stuff. He'll barbecue stuff at lunch. Just it'll be like a skewer of something. It's actually that has been one of the nice things about working from home, because I did pack my lunch working in an office.
And then fuck it, maybe even have a little glass of wine while you're at it.
Exactly. Depending.
You're just going back to the computer anyway. Have an Italian day. Today we're Italian.
Exactly. It's a theme lunch today. It's actually, lunch is such an important thing. And I actually really, even since I was little, I've always really looked forward to lunch, because it's like, what has my mom packed me? And there's always like an excited anticipation. And I don't know, something that's kind of carried through. So when I would work in an office, I knew that like soon I was going to get a break, and I could like bring my lunch, pull out my lunch and eat it.
It is something to look forward to.
Oh, it is. Still, even though I know I'm making my own lunch, I'm still excited for that break and to kind of reset. And I think it's really important, especially if you're working, kind of like an office-y kind of job. It's important to have that like mental break from work so that you can I get way more done if I take a break.
And to sit down and not do it at your desk.
Yeah, no, I leave my desk, I go for a walk, and like I can clear my head, and I'm like so much more productive having had a good break. And I've always, in offices, I've done that too. I would go for a walk wherever the office was and just like start fresh for the afternoon,
It's like a brand new day.
It's like exactly all the frustrations of the morning are gone.
I'm reneutralized, if that's a word.
Yeah.
I have nutrition. I've replenished.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. No, it's true. And it's like, then you go back and read all your email and remember what the morning was about. But it's still, for a moment, you're like clean and fresh. And
you're on the second half of it. So you're
that's
on your
right,
way.
Yeah.
You're on your way out.
That's right. 4 hours to go.
4 hours to go and we're out of here.
Exactly.
If only we could, make a permanent 3 or 4 day work week for everyone.
Oh, that would be nice. That would be really good.
I don't know why it's not a thing yet. Like it's literally, it's best for everybody. Like from the companies, the employees, the productivity, all of the above. Nobody should work more than 30 hours a week.
That would be nice. We have summer Fridays, so we finish at 3 on Fridays all summer long, and it's only 2 hours earlier than like we're officially done.
But it keeps morale up so much.
It's thrilling. Like it's so exciting. And Friday, it's like it's a short day. It's going to be an easy day, and it gives you a couple hours to.
Well, because everybody's remote now, the whole gene thing wasn't holding up.
Right. No, it's true. So a lot of my coworkers are in person now. They're encouraging them to go back.
Waste of a commute. Unless you just miss people. Like I'm sure it's a double-edged sword, right? Like
I miss going places. Like I miss like seeing the city. Stuff like that. I really like by being at home all the time. But people I talk to people all day, and so I don't feel like I've lost the personal connection at all. And we still work collaboratively in a lot of ways, more effectively. But there's less socializing. You get to know people less.
Touche.
Yeah.
Good answer. Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know, like, I guess if it's your coworkers and you have to like be on a Zoom meeting and you're gonna see them all the time, but if there's other people in the world, right, like you're just like, oh, I should call them. Oh, geez, I haven't seen or talked to them in forever. I would normally see them like every day, even like on my way to work or passing them in the hallway.
Yeah.
Now I just don't see them ever.
Yeah, and I walk past the old security guard from the building. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I miss seeing like those people. The people I would say like, hey, good morning to.
Right, like
or the guy
there
was an amazing dim sum place who's like, and the guy's old aunt used to make all the dumplings, and so I would always like once a week I'd go and get dumplings and see him.
Wow,
well, it's like that kind of those.
You should go see him anyway.
Yeah. So
now I know what you're doing tomorrow.
That's right.
I'm gonna go see Dumpling Guy. That was kind of wild. So what did you have for lunch today?
So I was in Croatia a few weeks ago. We were there for a couple of weeks. Oh. And one of my most memorable meals was at this kind of Pan-Asian restaurant. And the Croatian food was great. But the last night we were in Zagreb, we ate at a place that it was like ramen and all kinds of stuff. And I had dan noodles there with like tofu and these marinated mushrooms. And it was so good. And just like, it was the best meal I had. I was like so happy at the end of this meal. So I texted the chef and asked him if he'd send me the recipe. And he did.
Wow.
So he sent me the recipe. It made 14 liters of sauce. And oh my gosh, so many of the marinated mushrooms. So I scaled back all of it and made the sauce and the mushrooms yesterday. And then had that with some rice noodles today and tofu and spinach and in a bowl.
Was it just as good? How close did you get?
It was really good. So I wasn't sure what kind of noodles they had. And it's interesting, Croatia is such a small place, so they don't have the access to the same stuff that I have in Toronto. So like I went to a big Asian market here that has everything, like with a whole fresh noodle section. I sort of stood there like, oh, I can't remember which noodles.
Any of them will do.
There were just like so many choices, and I ate it so quickly that I didn't take a picture. So I think they were the wrong noodles, but I really liked the Ho Fun noodles, those big wide rice noodles. Or so.
They were probably actually flour noodles.
They were probably there. Yeah, no, the ones I had were like a small round noodle. Probably. So that's what I had, and it was good. It was, but you appreciate restaurant food when you make it at home. Like there are a lot of
there's
components.
so many ingredients, so many steps because it is, people don't realize, I think, that the reason that food is so good at like a good restaurant is because there are all these little weird extra steps that the chef has like worked out over the years to like kind of perfect the exact way that something's done, that you at home wouldn't like normally think about, like sloppy joes. I consider it the best sloppy joes ever. And the key is, if like over and over and over and over and over and over and over, is to actually get the burger to be all crusted to the pan, right? You want it to be like about half all kind of hamburger charred.
Okay,
right? Not still just soft and like boiled down meat.
So you have like texture.
Right. And then all that flavor, you deglaze the pan. Right. And, just to get all that back in. And that is flavor in and of itself before you even add any sauce.
Right.
Which is delicious. And just that one simple technique of making sure you brown your hamburger all the way,
makes
which a lot of people are like, brown hamburger. Is it brown yet? I don't know.
Like brown and crispy.
Right. It's got to be brown, literally the color brown, not gray, brown.
Right. Yeah.
But from that to just like the direction in which you cut your sushi, right? Like this is just a very simple thing that you think everybody would, but they don't know.
I really appreciate, especially having not really eaten out in the last 2.5 years. I appreciate restaurant food in a way that I have always loved eating out, but like I appreciate it a whole other level now. We ate out on a patio the other night, and it was the first time we'd been to this restaurant since like last fall. And it was the first time I was in a restaurant. I'm like, that was so good. And, it was everything. And
I didn't have to make it.
That too. And it was just so delicious. And I could never make food that good. Like this is like, like exceptionally good food. It's like a modern Indian restaurant, and food. It's just like so delicious.
We made curry last night.
Yeah,
actually, that's 2 times in a row I've said that. It's still a different day, guys. I swear. And it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Really good curry, though, is like it's such a skill to make curry really well.
And when you eat really good curry, you're just like, you just can't stop.
That was like Friday night. So good.
Like, I could drink, just give more. Like, how is this? I don't even know. And there's like some magic in it that I can't produce.
No, I've had more luck with curry pastes. So there's a recipe in the book, a couple that use curry paste, and that is that I've had more luck with that than with curry powders.
See, we made our own. We make our own. We just get all the spices and actually make curry. We don't buy curry powder.
Right? You make your own blend. Yeah.
And so I think maybe it's just the proportions we don't have right. I don't know.
No, there's a magic. There's some cuisines that I think are so hard to learn.
It's like the Ethiopian bread.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, so Texas season, we went to an Ethiopian restaurant, and actually, I sent camera girl spent about 15 minutes back in this really hot, steamy room with grandma, who was making all the bread, and she didn't speak any English, so we didn't get a lot of information out of her. Yeah. But she did demonstrate making the bread, but we didn't get any secrets of how it was really done. But to watch it done, it looks super simple. It's just basically pouring out a pancake,
right?
And then they put a lid clamps down over it for a second, and then they take it off, and it's done. Right? It's like, well, that seems easy enough.
Yeah. No, it's like making. Have you ever made dosa, or have you ever had dosa, like the South Indian crepes that are like the same size as injera? They're like huge, like paper thin crepes.
Oh yeah.
So good. And there's a place out by the airport here.
But you just eat it, right? It's just the thin, and you pick it up.
Yeah, it comes like folded sometimes with potatoes and things inside, and with chutneys. It's so good. It's like really delicious.
Sometimes it's just the bread with like the chutneys on the side, and you just dip the bread.
Right.
in the
Right.
chutneys, right?
But it's like a very thin thing. And you watch them make it. There's a place out by the airport here where they make them. And they just like one after another. Like they pour the batter, it cooks, fold it up and onto a plate.
So easy.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm just like, I'm not even gonna try. You know, there's no way.
So easy.
Yeah.
I bought Momofuku cookbook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't made anything out of it yet, but
No.
but speaking of chefs not wanting to give everything away,
Yeah.
the pork buns, like Chang's pork buns that he's famous for,
Yeah.
the bun recipe's in there,
Okay.
and the pork belly recipe's in there, but he doesn't tell you exactly what to put on the bun or to make the sandwich itself to match it, right? So you have to kind of figure it out. You look at the picture and you're like, oh, that's a pickle, so that's probably his pickled vinegar cucumber things.
Right.
So that probably needs to go on there. So if you're actually going to match it, he doesn't tell you exactly how to match it. So if you've never been there, you're not going to, figure it out.
Right. I've never
But
tried.
if you do a little detective work,
yeah, you can work backwards. Yeah.
you can work it out because it's all in there somewhere. But he doesn't give it to you straight up. It's just in little pieces around the book.
Yeah.
Right?
If you can buy food like that, though, I think I've got a couple of cookbooks where there's just so much work involved, right? And so I think I will probably just enjoy it more. I've got a couple Thomas Keller cookbooks, and they're beautiful, but I'll never cook from them. Like they're just beautiful books to look at. You know?
Bourdain's is super simple. It's just everything you've ever made before already, anyway, for the most part. But with fun, witty dialogue to be read next to it.
That's fun.
Right? That's the best part of Bourdain's cookbook. But it's basically just your basics. Sausage, gravy, and biscuit recipe where he doesn't add any cream. Very confused by that one, but it's just butter and sausage.
Yeah, and is it good?
I don't know. I've never. I mean, I have my own sausage gravy recipe, but I was looking at it. I was like, that doesn't seem right.
Right.
but
I've baked from the Bouchon Bakery cookbook, which is like a Thomas Keller one, and everything I've made from that has been involved, but everything turns out really, really well. Exceptionally well. And it gives you an appreciation if you ever go to the bakery and order something that there's been that much work.
Right.
But there's certainly recipes. There's a peanut butter cookie sandwich in that book where the dough just falls apart. You roll it out and you have to put it into the freezer to firm up before you can cut it out. And it's frustrating to tears. And reading in the notes and at the bakery we use a sheeter. I'm like, oh well, I don't have one at home. No wonder it's this isn't going well for me.
There should be an asterisk with a warning.
That's right. Don't bother at home. Yeah, just come and buy one of these.
Warning: this recipe is delicious, but also comes with high levels of stress and anxiety.
That's right. It'll make you cry. It'll make you just give up.
Cooking is so much fun.
So it is. Usually, you know what it actually is. I really appreciate at the end of the day to relax and cook, and as long as you don't need to rush. It is really nice.
It is actually.
Yeah, and there's a real sense of accomplishment when you make something that's good. So with the noodles from the place in Zagreb, when I put everything together, I was like, oh, this is great. And I have another liter of sauce, to just eat my way through. But
freeze some of it and have some flavor bombs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I can't do. Yeah, I'll never want to eat it again if I eat it all week.
I'm sure you can freeze it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, no, we'll see. What can I? Yeah.
So all right. So what I have gathered so far is that we need to plan better for our weeks.
Yes. Yeah. So back to lunches. So if you have a strategy for lunch, then it gives you, if you make a plan for the week, it makes lunch packing really easy. And the upside is that you'll have something delicious to look forward to. You don't need to rely on fast food if you don't want to.
As you're planning though, so we've just been talking about lunch, but
yeah,
what's happening at dinner while we're planning for lunch? Are we working all that out at the same time?
Do I? So So I do. I make a rough plan of everything all at once, and really just on paper. I've used apps, and like at the end of the day, a pen and paper works for me. And I make. There's actually a picture in the book of just like along the right-hand side of the page. I just write all of the stuff I have in my house, like all the food I have in the fridge, stuff in the freezer, and I use my freezer like a pantry in a lot of ways. And then I just like make out a map of what we're gonna have. And
connect the dots.
Just like a great little calendar. And then I'm really open to changing it too, especially here where food, like from May to October, you can get amazing local stuff here, and it's so nice and fresh. And so that I'm like open to changing my plan after I go to the supermarket. Like I walk in, I'm like, oh, like local corn, it's like 4 weeks and it's so good. So, we'll change stuff up.
Corn's the guilty habit.
Yeah. It's so easy.
It's so good. It has no nutritional value, but it's still delicious, and it's just so gratifying and makes you feel, I don't know, at home somehow.
Yeah, it's so good. So you make a plan, and then with lunch and dinner, I like to plan both at the same time. So sometimes we'll have something for dinner, and my family doesn't love leftovers, but they can be like adapted for lunch. So you could make like a nice
leftovers aren't leftovers if you make something else out of them.
Well, it's sort of like an adaptation. So like you make bolognese, or you make like a nice curry or something, and for lunch you can pack it in puff pastry as a hand pie. So, double the sauce recipe or double the curry or stew kind of recipe, and then bake them into hand pies, freeze half of them for like your future self. And you'll be very happy on a Monday morning when they're like there in the freezer for you, and then pack them, like bake them up for lunch.
First, you have to remember that they're in the freezer.
Yeah. So I keep a list. Actually, I keep for a while, like I
that
actually.
That is brilliant. I should so do that.
Pardon me?
Just a list of like everything that is in the freezer, just on the refrigerator, right? Yeah, so instead of having to open it up and look around,
no, exactly.
It's just all
I do
right.
With the freezer. Like we have like a big freezer in the basement, and I've got like a dry erase like sticker on it, and I just like write what's on there, so I know.
I like that. I'm going to replay this segment right here from my wife and be like, you know how much you love whiteboards?
Yeah, it's so you just do that. The only problem is we have like, like a big, like a big chest freezer, and one of my kids sat on the top of it and like erased the whole, dry erase thing. I'm like, oh, now I have no idea what's in the freezer.
And it's all frozen and bagged and wrapped in white butcher paper too, right?
Look at just open it and do it again. But it's still a moment like, oh, that took like a really long time to organize the freezer, and undone in moments.
The butt strikes again.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, where can we get your book? Where can we follow you at?
All right. So my book will be published on August 16th and is available wherever books are sold. So all of the usuals, Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And I've seen it online at Target and Walmart in the US, and then in Canada at Indigo and Amazon, and lots of independent booksellers as well.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah.
That's lunchtastic. Where can we follow you anywhere?
Yeah, I am on Instagram, just at Aviva Wittenberg.
Aviva Wittenberg on Instagram.
And I share lunch. For a while, I was sharing every single day.
It gets overwhelming, right?
Which was tough when my kids were little. Right now, my kids are actually away at camp for the summer, so I'm not making lunch except for us. So I'll share what we're eating once in a while, and then September.
I want to see that Croatian dish.
I will, so I'll share it tomorrow, actually. I took a picture of it.
Yeah.
Tasted it. It was so good. It was, what a delicious recipe. Worth like the 19 ingredients that went into the sauce.
If you want to see the Croatian noodle dish, you got to go follow Aviva Wittenberg on Instagram. Yeah. And go get her book, too.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for hanging out. And I'm so many good tips just to how to organize our refrigerators, our lives, and our lunches.
Oh, great. Well, it was so great to share them. It was lots of fun.
Awesome. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful lunch and a wonderful dinner.
Thanks. You do. Yeah.
And I'm going to go check out your book as soon as I can.
All right. Thanks so much.
Awesome, darling. Well, you have a wonderful day, and tell Toronto I said hello.
Yeah, for sure. And come and visit. Come in. Like, there's so much good food. You need to head up here.
I know. I got a couple people I got to visit. Matt Basil lives up there. Yeah, he was on about a month or so ago, and we had a lot of fun. So maybe I'm gonna make it up there one day. I'll give you both a call. We'll all go grab some Ethiopian.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That would be great.
Awesome. Well, thank you, darling. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks.
And we'll hang out again soon, I hope.
That would be great.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.
Everyone, go watch my television series. Cheers.